let's look at the next policy, which is preparation. Preparation was really intense in most of these jurisdictions. So it involves content-specific training, it involves pedagogical training. So that means like teaching how to teach. And this is something that's really important that we do not do a whole lot of here, and that is clinical training. So clinical training means that they take candidates and they put them in classrooms while they're getting their degree for short periods of time, right? And usually it's like progressive. So, you know, a candidate will go to a school and teach like one lesson, and then they'll come back and they'll review how it went, and then they'll progressively go on to like maybe taking over a classroom for a couple of days, then maybe a few weeks, then, you know, maybe a couple of months. And then each time they get brought back in and they review, all right, how did that go, right? And they're taught, you know, with a mentor to go over the data that they collect. They look at artifacts, they look at input from the lead teacher of the classroom. So a lot of clinical training was really interesting. And there was also a lot of places that had actual schools that were like training schools. It's almost like in medicine, how we have like training school or training hospitals. They have training schools for actual schools, you know, like for primary schools and secondary schools. So I was like, that's really interesting. And that's something that we don't do a whole lot of here. And the other interesting thing is that most of these jurisdictions had a huge emphasis on cooperation. Can you work with other teachers? Because, you know, that's how you get the best teaching done, is you work with others. And I was like, that's really interesting. And that's very different from the isolated teacher that exists here in California. Let's take a look at preparation. So in most jurisdictions that are successful, teachers, once you get accepted into a program, you don't have to pay for that program, right? It's all state funded. And in some places, they even give people going through their teacher preparation program a stipend so that they can live and pay bills while they learn to become a teacher, right? Whereas here, if you want to become a teacher, it's all out of pocket, right? You're gonna have to pay for all that. You're gonna have to pay for your program. You might be able to take out a loan to pay for it, but either way, you're giving up some of your salary, some of your money to go through this program. And forget about getting a stipend. You're not getting that. So in California, I think the credentialing program is a 2-year program where the first year you go through like pedagogy and skills. And if you listen to my other podcasts, you'll hear that other teachers that have gone through the credentialing program in California don't think very much of it. Like honestly, when I went through my credentialing program, I'm gonna say about like 10% of all that I went through was useful, right? And a lot of it was just like a huge waste of time and bureaucratic work. And some of the things I learned were just straight up wrong. Like they just weren't like supported by anything. So one idea was like the idea of multiple intelligences. Turns out that is not a thing. It's just not a thing. But I was taught in my credentialing program about multiple intelligences. Yeah. So that lack of uniformity and there's a lack of uniformity even how we prepare teachers, right? You can go through one program and it'll be a little bit more intensive, and another program and it'll be less. But overall, a lot of teachers that I know didn't feel like they got much from the program, right? And they have you do like such extreme things that you're just like, I don't know. Do I need to write like a 20-page lesson plan for every lesson I'm going to teach? Like, seems excessive, right? But that's what they tell you to do, and as far as I know, nobody does that. All right. Also, there's no culture of cooperation when we prepare teachers. Like there isn't. I can't remember a single time where I was like given a partner and going like, all right, you're going to do these things together and you're going to, come up with this thing together, and this is how you cooperate, and this is how you share out ideas, and this is how. There's none of that. It's like pretty much you're on your own, right? All right, we're going to help you find a school to go look at and observe. Go over there, go observe them, take some notes. Here's some things that you should probably look out for. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk about it. And it's not very cooperative. It's pretty much everyone on their own. So preparation in California, not really great.